back, everyone. TDH here again with another Heroes of the Storm video, this time talking about patch notes 29.3. So this went live today, November 27th. This includes Hanzo, as well as a number of hero changes. We're going to go through the hero changes. I'm going to leave Hanzo to another video coming up shortly. It looks like we've got a fairly long list, almost every support on it. A couple of warriors, a couple of assassins. Let's just go ahead and open this up and have a look. We got Tychus and Zul'Jin, Sergeant Hammer, most of the supports, if not all of them, Johanna and Sonya. So let's go ahead and get started here. It looks like Tychus, his minigun, so his trait is going to have the mana cost removed. Not a bad change. Just a little bit of a buff. And then Zul'Jin. Now, Zul'Jin's pretty popular right now. I see him in almost every single one of my games. His W build or his mage build is now pretty strong compared to his old basic attack build. It looks like Guillotine is going to get a slight nerf from 350 down to 330. At level 1, Recklessness, his trait, is getting an adjusted functionality. So while below 75% health, he's going to gain 10% spell armor. And while below 50% health, he's going to gain 20% attack damage. Now, I wonder if both of those are going to be combined together if you're below 50%, or if it's just going to be one or the other depending on how low your health is. I would assume it'd be both. You'd get the 10% spell power as well as the attack damage. I'll have to look at that. At level 4, Amani Rage, probably one of his most popular talents, especially when you're combining it with Guillotine for that burst damage. The duration of the heal is now increased from 6 to 10 seconds, so you got to be a little bit wary once you pop it. And the value armor has been reduced from 10 to 5. Okay, so a little bit more vulnerable once you pop that Amani Rage. It's still going to be pretty powerful, though. At level 7, his Axe's W no longer lowers the cooldown of Twin Cleave. Okay, so just a little bit of a nerf. And then at Vicious Assault for his Q is getting an added functionality on top. So also increases the duration of Zul'Jin's Grievous Throw effect by 3 seconds. That's a pretty big buff. Going to make it a little bit more viable for sure. At level 13, so Lacerate, his W is slow amount is going to be reduced from 15 to 10%. So just a little bit of a nerf there. And then at 16, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which is probably his most picked talent there at 16. The apex damage has been reduced 50 points from 150 down to 100. So Zul'Jin just getting a little bit of a tune-up there. Kind of trying to make some other talents a little bit more viable. I still think W build is going to be probably the go-to right now. So Sergeant Hammer. Oh boy, look at this. Sergeant Hammer getting a little bit of a rework. So let's have a look here. So her basic attack damage, now a little bit more responsive. Her artillery, her trait, removed. Okay, including the 1%, the 1 bonus attack range. Okay, so siege mode, the trait, mana cost, now removed. So it's moved to the trait now instead of artillery. So siege mode is now the trait, and mana cost is removed for sieging up. That's decent little buff there. Basic attack range bonus now from 5 to 6. So they're basically taking artillery and then bumping it into siege mode. Now deals 20% bonus damage to all enemies while in siege mode. So she's used to, instead of 30% bonus to minions and structures. So it's just a flat 20% to all enemies that she hits. Sergeant Hammer can no longer cast abilities while entering siege mode. Okay. So her Spider Mines, her Q, while in siege mode, the range is now increased by 100%. So she's going to be able to get a little bit more vision as well as a little bit more range in order to kind of help her out there while in siege mode. And the mana cost is reduced down to 45 from 50. Concussive Blast, or her W, her knockback, cone is now narrowed from 60 to 45 degrees. And then while in siege mode, cast range is increased to by 50%. Okay, so kind of seeing a trend here. While she's not in siege mode, everything's kind of toning down a little bit. When she gets into siege mode, that's when all the damage, or at least the range of everything, increases. Okay, new ability for her E. Okay, so you activate to gain 25 armor for 2 seconds, and then while in siege mode, increases this to 50 armor. On a 12-second cooldown, it costs 30 mana. That's pretty good. Okay, it's going to give her a better chance to escape once she gets dived on. 50% armor. That's That's pretty substantial, especially if you can combine that with any other type of healing from a support that she can get. So let's go through these talents now. Level 1, so advanced artillery, new functionality, now increases siege mode splash damage by an additional 50% and its radius by 25%. Okay. Resistant removed. Okay. And then ambush, so an adjusted functionality. Sergeant Hammer now enters stealth after not dealing damage, taking damage, or using an ability for 3 seconds while in siege mode. Interesting. So as long as you're not taking damage for 3 seconds, using an ability. So, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Regen Master removed. Probably a good idea with the new Neo Steel plating. And then Maelstrom Round, so a new talent. So activate to increase Sergeant Hammer's basic attack damage by 40% for 5 seconds, maximum of 3 charges. On a 90-second cooldown, basic attacks in siege mode against enemy structures reduce this cooldown by 5 seconds. Okay, so if you're looking to kind of burst somebody down, okay. Level 4. Vigorous Assault removed. Focused Attack removed. Excessive Force removed. So Barricade now moved to 13. She's got a couple of new talents now. One for her E. So Sergeant Hammer becomes unstoppable for 2 seconds when she uses Neo Steel plating in siege mode. Okay, so you're in siege mode. You get CC'd, boom. Not only do you get the 50% armor, but you also get unstoppable. So your own personal cleanse to get out of that. So, okay. I kind of like these changes because the one thing about Sergeant Hammer is she's very vulnerable once she's in siege mode. You've got to really position yourself accordingly. This is going to give you a lot more toughness, being able to kind of posture up a bit more aggressive. While being able to dish out that damage. So I really like these changes. Could be kind of frustrating to play against, but for Sergeant Hammer players, this looking pretty good. Regenerative Biosteel, so another trait option here. Sergeant Hammer heals for 15% for damage dealt with basic attacks in siege mode. Okay, so I think the just with how prevalent CEC is right now in today's kind of meta, I think this siege tactic is going to be pretty good. Obviously, if the opportunity presents itself, the regenerative Biosteel could be good as well. So at level 7, her minefield removed, first aid removed, and she's got a new talent now. So spider mines explode 3 times over 3 seconds instead of destroying themselves immediately. So you're going to get, okay, so helping you out with the wave clear. Hover Siege is now moved from level 16, and movement speed reduced from 50% to 25%. Okay. And then moved from 16, the graduated range. Maximum range bonus is reduced from 5.5 down to 3.3. Okay, so level 7, kind of an interesting talent structure there. Level 13, First Strike removed, Bullhead Mines removed, new talent for her Q, so increases the Spider Mines slow from 25% up to 40%, and casting thrusters leaves behind a trail of up to 5 Spider Mines while Sergeant Hammer's moving. So once again, just adding to her ability to escape, you get CC'd, you get out of it with your unstoppable, you get the 50% armor, and now you're going to leave a trail of 40% slowing mines to help prevent the engage after your escape. This is going to really help her survivability. Wow. And then entrenched, her W increases concussive blast damage and knockback distance by 75% while in siege mode. So most of these talents, at least the rework that she's getting, has a lot to do with her survivability, just a little bit in terms of her damage output. She can still dish out quite a bit of damage, but it's all about surviving, especially while in siege mode. Very, very interesting. And then hypercooling engines is now moved from 7 with a new functionality. So each enemy hero hit with a basic attack in siege mode reduces the cooldown of thrusters by 5 seconds. Wow. this is pretty good. Okay, level 16, Stone Skin removed. Giant Killer is now moved from 13, so bumped it up to 16. Okay, and then she's got a new talent, Mechanical Know-How. So Neil Steel Plating grants a shield equal to 5% of Sergeant Hammer's maximum health for 2 seconds. If the shield is destroyed, she deals 50% more basic attack damage over 5 seconds. Okay. I'm really liking a lot of these E talents. Level 20, Fury of the Storm removed. Nexus Frenzy removed. New talent, Shrapnel Mine. So each Spider Mine explosion reduces the enemy's armor by 10 for 3 seconds. Interesting. Very interesting, especially as they're engaging. You know, they're going to get more and more vulnerable. Ultra Capacitors. For her trait, new talent, every enemy hero hit with a basic attack while in siege mode increases Sergeant Hammer's attack speed by 5% for 5 seconds, up to 40%. Wow. You know, overall, you know, looking at these talents, I mean, Sergeant Hammer is definitely going to be a lot more viable. You know, the one thing that you would, you know, have to be concerned when you pick her is that you're able to defend her properly, kind of play around her, and now she's able to kind of do a lot more on her own while still be able to be survivable, adding to her viability in general. Without playing these changes, I really like where Blizzard's heading with this. All right, Alexstrasza. I don't know what to think about Alexstrasza. You know, it's majority of people tend to think that she's undertuned. You do have the occasional player that will say that she's pretty powerful, especially in their hands or in the right hands. You know, I think that she has weaknesses and she has strengths. You know, her dragon form, obviously her biggest strength. While not in dragon form, she does have a couple of weaknesses. She can fit a certain role. But let's see what they've done with her here. Basic, her maximum health is reduced. Okay, so you know, I thought she was pretty squishy in general, so she's getting a little bit more squishy because her health regen is also dropping just a little bit. And her W, so her abundance, the range is increased by 11%. Okay, so this is a pretty good change. You know, the one thing about her is you have to play pretty close together. Now, my only concern with Alexstrasza is when you put down her W's or her big heal, you're very vulnerable, especially to mages that shoot down AoE. You know, Kel'Thuzad, Kalthos, Jaina, you know, any Chromie in particular, you know exactly where the enemy team is going to group up. So it gives you the chance to really throw down some burst, which makes me a little skeptical about picking Alexstrasza. I tend to pick her, you know, in the right comp, in the right scenario. I don't think she's in every scenario type of healer, like a Rhaegar, for example, who you could take in just about every situation. She definitely does have some weaknesses in terms of that group up. But other than that, you know, I think this is a pretty good change. You know, increasing that range is going to help her out quite a bit. So Anna, her maximum health is also now reduced. Health regen also reduced. Basic attack damage. Why is her basic attack damage being reduced? She down to 30? I mean, come on. She really does 0 basic attack damage. Her wave clear is absolutely horrible. I don't know why. I don't know why the reduction on that is necessary. I mean, I feel like she's a very powerful hero right now, but still. So her healing dart, her Q, heal amount is reduced down to 237. Biotic grenade, the heal amount is reduced, and the damage is also reduced from 6 down to 57. So just some minor nerfs there. You know, nothing major. And then the Eye of Horus. So her talent, her other, I mean, Nano Boost is so good. I barely ever play with Eye of Horus, but the heal amount is also reduced, and the damage has been reduced. I still think Nano Boost is just too good to give up, especially now since they've now nerfed down the Eye. Kind of interesting. So. Definitely across the board nerfs to Anna. Ariel, basic maximum health reduced, health regen reduced. Okay, I'm starting to notice a trend here with the supports. Basic attack damage reduced. Okay. Uh, so her Sacred Sweep, her Q, the outer damage has been reduced, and the inner damage is also reduced. Detainment Strike, normal damage is reduced, and after striking with a wall, damage reduced. Maximum Energy is also reduced down to 475, and Crystal Aegis damage is also reduced. Across the board nerfs to Ariel. I'm not sure if those were necessary. You know, Ariel, I would typically only pick her in a double healer scenario. I wouldn't really pick her as a single healer, and you know, you've got to make sure that your team is viable enough in terms of their damage output in order to pick Ariel in general. Um, I don't know if I agree with these nerfs. Okay, well, Brightwing, maximum health reduced, health regen reduced, basic attack damage reduced. So they're taking away the amount of damage that supports do, making them a little bit squishier. Okay, I don't necessarily mind that. I mean, they're not really there to do damage. I'm definitely expecting then Rhaegar to get a reduction on his basic attack damage, and Kazarim. So we'll see here. Arcane Flare, the outer damage reduced down to 87. So not a huge change there. Inner damage reduced. Soothing Mist. Okay, so the heal amount reduced on her Blink, and the damage is reduced on her Emerald Wind. Unstoppable Anomaly, so her Polymorph damage is also reduced just a little bit. And then the Phase Shield amount is reduced. Across the board nerfs to Brightwing. Wow, as a support player, this is hurting. This is hurting. Kazarim, basic attack damage reduced. I mean, if any hero, at least support, were to get their basic attack damage reduced, Kazarim, Rhaegar, you know, those are the healers I think needed to be targeted, because their amount to do damage is fairly strong for a support. Breath of Heaven, the heal amount reduced, and the heal amount reduced on the Palm. Okay. Transcendence, heal amount reduced. I mean, between his other two level 1 talents, I mean, Insight for me right now is the go-to, especially over the basic attack damage. The cooldown reduction is just so good, especially towards the mid to late game. I mean, you're able to spit out a ton of damage, a ton of healing, just because you're boom, 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 reducing that cooldown like crazy, especially if you pick up Way of 100 Fists at 16, which the damage is also now reduced apparently from 50 down to 45%. Even so, that's still reducing your cooldown with the Insight. So across the board nerfs for Kharazim. I'm expecting the same thing here with Lily. Basic attack damage, or maximum health damage reduced. Health regen reduced. Basic attack damage reduced. Healing brew increased. An increase on a support. Here we go. All right, so the heal brew increased to 190 instead of 177. The heal amount is increased on the serpent. Damage is also reduced. So again, buffing up the healing, reducing the damage. Blinding wind damage reduction. Heal amount increased on jugs up to 70 from 66.5. And then water dragon, damage reduced. Okay, so a little back and forth there with Lily. Morales, let's see here. Health, maximum health reduced, health regen reduced, basic attack damage reduced. Heal amount also reduced on her healing beam. And the displacement grenades, the damage is reduced. Lucio, probably my favorite character in the game right now. I absolutely love this guy. So much fun to play. Love the speed boost engages. Maximum health reduced. Regen reduced. Basic attack damage reduced. He does no basic attack damage. All right, so that's reduced. 1 point, whatever. Soundwave. Damage reduction, or damage reduced. Okay, not really using that for damage. You know, amp it up. Heal is reduced. Shield amount on the barrier reduced. And reverse amp damage reduced. Level 13, back in the mix. Heal amount is reduced down to 245. Not really the one that I used. And then Rejuvenatia, or whatever. Heal amount reduced from 3 down to 2.5 of allies' maximum health. Okay. That was typically my go-to pick. I'll have to see how that works out. Malfurion, let me guess. Maximum health reduced, regen reduced, basic attack damage reduced. So his regrowth, initial heal amount reduced, and his heal over time is also reduced. Moonfire damage was 105, now 100. Entangling Roots damage was 139, now down to 37. Tranquility, the heal amount reduced. Twilight Dream, the damage has been reduced. So at level 1, his Moonburn removed, and he's got a new talent. Interesting. So increases Moonfire's reveal duration from 2 to 5 seconds, and then Malfurion's basic attacks deal 100% additional damage to targets revealed by Moonfire. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. And Vengeful Roots at level 4. The Broccoli attack damage reduced down to 65, and scaling per quest stack is also reduced by 1. Rhaegar, basic attack damage reduced. Finally, one that I agree with. Chain Heal amount reduced. Lightning Shield, the damage reduction reduced, or the damage is reduced. And Ancestral Healing also reduced. Lightning Bond has been removed. So there goes a lot of Rhaegar's wave clear merc potential. Okay. This, I think, probably a necessary change. Rhaegar, one of the strongest healers in the game right now. He is capable of doing just about everything that you could want from a support plus more. As much as I love this talent, I think this is going to bring a lot more of the other healers into the mix. Okay, so a big nerf there to Rhaegar with the Lightning Bond being removed completely. Stukov, no health adjustments. Fascinating. Okay, and his heal amount on the pathogen reduced. Lurking Arm damage reduced. Bio kill switch healing reduced. Failing swipe damage reduced. Massive shove damage reduced. Getting pretty predictable now going through some of these healers. Maximum health reduced for Tassadar. Regen reduced. So his plasma shields, the shield amount is also now reduced down to 455. His W, his Sonic Storm damage has been reduced. And in Archon form, he's not going to be doing as much damage. Also reduced. Tyrande, maximum health has been reduced. Regen reduced. Basic attack damage reduced. Sentinel Shot, her W, damage has been reduced. Lunar Flare, damage has been reduced. Starfall, damage reduced. Uther, basic attack damage reduced. Healing Light, amount of Q. I mean, you pretty much know where this is going. Healing reduced, healing reduced. Flash of Light, healing amount also been reduced. Hammer of Justice, damage reduced from Divine Storm. Here we go. So Holy Fire, damage has also been reduced. So let's go in here into the Warriors now. It looks like Johanna, her Iron Skin, mana cost removed. Nice change. I play a lot of Johanna right now. Mana cost removed, sure, yeah, I'll take it. And Sonya, Poison Spear, damage reduction. Yeah, this is a very powerful skill. Not really surprised here. So that looks like the hero changes. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You know, healers nerfed all the way across the board for the most part, except for I think Alexstrasza and her W, increasing that range by 11%. Lily getting a couple different buffs, as well as a couple of nerfs. And everyone else, pretty much their healing output reduced, their damage has been reduced. Rhaegar with the big nerf, losing that Lightning Bond at level 1. And just a couple of trait mana reductions for most of the characters. Zul'Jin getting a little bit of balance changes, just getting tweaked here or there. Interesting changes. Can't wait to get out and try some of these. It looks like we're not going to have most of these available, I think, until tomorrow. That's what it said up here. November 29th. May not be present until then. Uh, Not too bad. It's going to give us a chance to play some Hanzo. So we're going to get into him, and we'll see you next time. I've been TDH, and see you later. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. If you're looking forward to more Heroes of the Storm content, go ahead and hit that subscribe. You can follow me on Twitch at _TDH, Twitter _TDH, and on YouTube, the TDH.